Hi, welcome to Conversion Conversations. This is Cameron, and today I'm taking a look at Transformers Collaborative Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Transformers The Party Wallop. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I am a TMNT casual fan. I was never super into it. I watched the cartoon. My older brother, was super into it. I mean, he still is. But I was intrigued by this because I do remember the original cartoon. I remember the Party Wagon. And I have enjoyed these crossover series. I think there's only one I haven't gotten, which is the Frankenstein's Monster, which I still would like to get at some point. But per usual for the crossover toys, I do like to look at the packaging. I did a short that you could go check out if you want to see the full unboxing. But this does, to me, capture that, like, that vibe of those blister pack turtles from the 90s that I remember. It is very, there's a little like 40-year anniversary up here. Nickelodeon, which I don't think owned Turtles at the time that I liked it. I don't really remember. We've got the cool, like, there's the party wagon and everything. And we've got a cool looking robot here. We're going to get him out of the packaging in just a moment and take a closer look at him. And here is the Party Wallop in its alt mode, the party wagon, the Ninja Turtles van. And it is looking pretty good overall. We have, some nicely painted windows. We've got the logo here. We've got, you can see kind of the Ninja Turtles mouth, that famous, like, turtle grin. We do have some weapon storage. We've got sais and katanas down here. The wall, I want to point this out, we do have some black venting here. We have a pretty smooth wall on this side. It is very, very easy to mess up the shoulder rotation required to get this to line up. This is a very fiddly transformation. I showed it off a little bit in the short that I did, how fiddly it is. I do want to show kind of any bit of pressure gets the wall moving forward, and then it just doesn't line up, and it just takes a lot of fiddliness. I wanted to show kind of both versions. If you take enough time, you'll get it right, but it is a little too fiddly for my liking. There's not like a ton of paint here, but the paint that is here works out pretty well. Matching yellow back here, light blue windows, the lights I appreciate. We've got the shell top, that's awesome. This storage is, if I put too much pressure on it, I'll pop a katana out, so. And then we do have up top, we've got their little turtle shell cover, which is actually, if I can get this, you know what? Future hint, I've got, we'll talk about this in a second, but it does have a pizza hidden on the inside, which is kind of neat. It looks pretty good. It rolls nicely. The tires feel good. And this is, a largish Voyager these days. If I'm comparing it just to something I have on me, here is a Studio Series Voyager, which might be a little on the small side for a Voyager, but there we go. In terms of any articulation or features, the big thing we have, we've got these red lights painted here. We have these guns that do elevate, so they can go up, they can go down, and then aside from the rolling, that is about it. There's just enough paint for me to find it enjoyable, but I will note, I think for the price point, there should have been more. And let's go ahead and get into transformation. To start out, we are going to pop off our weapons, the katanas and the sais. Obviously, we've got Leonardo's katanas, Raphael's sais, Michelangelo's nunchucks, and Donatello's bow staff are hidden on the inside. We're going to come in on the sides here, and we're going to open up this piece, this panel, which lets us get this panel out. Same thing on this side, open up this panel lets us get this panel out, and you can see what I'm talking about, the rotation. This is on two swivel joints, and the shell kind of wants to force it down, so you really gotta get in there and fight and twist it up. We can now, with all these panels loose, we can come in and we can pop the top off here. Lets us remove the front of the truck, which we can actually, for the purpose of this transformation, we can also leave it on, and we'll do the rest of the transformation with it intact. The only other thing to separate out from the top of the truck is going to be back here. The fin on the back, we can come in and we can separate it, and there is a tab here to pull the shell out. With all that done, we can split open what will be the legs, and that gives us the clearance we need to push these down and get the back windshields and the arms out to the sides. And we can see there are two joints there that move things out. Then we could come in and we can lift open. Oh, you know what? We do actually want to separate this out because there were panels and tabs that kept these skirt pieces intact. So those, we folded up the panels and we bring those down, and then we can bring this up. We can, for now, reattach it. We can take our arms, bring them down into the sides. Same thing on this side. We can see the additional weapon storage. The nunchucks are right here. Those are going to come down on either side. We can see over here, spoiler, for all the turtle heads that were in the box, as well as the bow staff. This is all going to come in, and then we can pop up Party Wallop's head and bring up this piece. Actually, bring it up and bring this down. And there is a tab that'll go into the slot on the back of the neck platform, as well as two tabs here that go into slots on his turtle shell. Last thing is just going to be these feet. We're going to come in and we're going to close these up. There is a little slot here, a detent to lock against the side of the leg, flipping out the foot, flipping down the wheel. Same thing on this side, flipping this up, flipping out and down. And here is Party Wallop in robot mode. The last things we want to do are take the size, and they can store in a new position here. So you do have weapon storage, you just have to take the size and katanas because they move between spots. And then the katanas can store on his shell, like so, and like so. So there is a mode here which does essentially store everything. And I think it looks goofy but cool. It has a very 90s robot vibe. The colors haven't changed much. We've got significantly more green, which I think helps. The gray, toes, we kind of imply that sandals, the little bit of additional silver on the back. And the fact that he has a backpack really works for this character just because he is a turtle. It helps that he's got, his turtle shell. He is, I'll say, a little under-articulated. Again, this kind of goes back to that price point. If this was a Voyager, I don't think I'd be bothered so much if I was paying Voyager prices. For like a $40 toy, I think this is pretty neat. But this is going for more than leader class prices. At $60, I think I was expecting a little more in terms of articulation for the engineering in terms of the articulation. We do have a, it's not a swivel. At first I thought it was a swivel, but it is a ball joint, so it can look up, which does help. I do wish it could tilt to the side a little more, but there is some tilt. And it is a very turtley head sculpt. We do have 360 on the shoulders. They have to kind of move out of the way. You got to watch out because he has so much stuff. Things will be popping off here and there. The katanas and the sais being the biggest culprits. He's got shoulder rotation, but it only goes that high. He does have elbow swivel, but the elbow bend is only 90 degrees. There is there is wrist swivel, but with certain handles, this panel gets in the way, which is really, really unfortunate. On his legs, the kibble does kind of get in the way, so it can't really do the full Van Damme split. It can go, that far. And if you take this piece out, there's another side, it's still the same amount because the clash is happening here, not with the cover. He can kick. Again, with this piece, it is a limited kick. If we move this off, he can kick a little more. I'm just going to take these sides off because they're just going to pop off. He kicks about, that far. He kicks back that far. He does have waist articulation. He does have thigh swivel, and he can get this far, 90 degrees on the knees, as well as a relatively deep ankle tilt. But what this means to me is that while it is like standard articulation for a transformer, because these are the Ninja Turtles, I'm hoping to put them in cool kung fu poses. And he really struggles to do that. What this means to me is that, you know, for a Transformer, it's pretty standard articulation, but for Ninja Turtles, it does feel limited. And things like the wrists aren't like fully straight, the panel gets in the way. It doesn't feel like a premium collector's figure. It feels like an expensive children's toy, which is fine, but again, it doesn't, the cost to the value doesn't seem to match. I think technically we can rotate these lights up. There we go. And things like, if you notice, like his shell is constantly coming down. Things are just like clashing and colliding. There's a lot going on here, and it's not all holding together. And yeah, like this. This is not sitting, you know, where it needs to. He does have, I mean, I do like the fact that he has all that weapon storage and all the things he can do. He does have, like we've shown a couple times now, you can take this chest piece off, and he has some additional features. The big one being we can rip off the top of his head. And if we come in on the back, and we are going to grab, and I had to put them in order. So, you know, Leonardo is the leader of the group. Donatello does machines. Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo's a party machine. There we go. I'll put Donatello as his head. Put this back. Putting this scalp on top. And then we're going to get out Donatello's bow staff. Like so. Closing that up. See if we can... It does feel like this should have a spring-loaded launcher, but we can get this closed up as good as possible. Bring this piece in right here. Okay, so we can put on our head, top of our head. We can open up this piece and turn it so we can see his belt. We can stick on the size, and then we can extend out the bow staff. This is the only weapon that like transforms. And then he does, you know, we do get Donatello, who's got, as a turtle, he's got a svelte figure. He can do things like he's sturdy enough that he can, you know, be out here balancing with a kick, although his high kick isn't, you know, the most high. But there we go. Obviously, bits constantly want to fall off. We can take this piece. It does have storage. I was hoping it would store somewhere on his back, but it really doesn't seem like that's the case. I think if you flip it, it would clash with the katanas, but you could replace the fin piece. What you can do instead is stick it over here on this port right here, like so. But I think that looks really bad, and it takes the forearm that's already clunky and it just makes it bigger. So I will keep mine off to the side. But yeah, so we do have Donatello. But if we wanted to see them all together, we do have, you know, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, all of them together. And I will say, I think they look great as a set. Would I recommend buying 4 of them? Absolutely not. This was a crazy thing I did because I want to take a picture of them to show my older brother. We're going to both get a kick out of them. Is it even worth it? I mean, you can see kind of like the weapon storage is the same. You're basically just swapping out the scalps and the buttons, the belt buckles. I'll say that I don't know that I recommend it at 60. Actually, I know that I don't recommend it at $60. I think if you wait and get it on sale, some of these collaborative figures, you might get it for as low as 30. At 30, I think it's a really good, it's a nice like little Voyager. It does something very unique. The swappability is really, really cool. It just has a lot of fiddly bits. It's very, very fiddly. And I think collaborative in general has been like the fiddly line. The Expanse was that way. The Top Gun plane was that way. Actually, let's get some of the collaboratives together. Here we've got 2 other Voyager-ish 80s icon collaborative toys. I mean, I guess you know, Stranger Things evokes the 80s, but isn't actually from the 80s. And these were both cheaper. Obviously, prices have gone up and things like that. And these toys are more substantive. I will say that. I mean, they feel good in hand. It's really just an unfortunate, you know, tolerances regarding these panels in alt mode is frustrating. The lack of articulation, I mean, the lack of special articulation for characters that are ninjas is frustrating. Like, I think we should have toe articulation so they could front kick. I wanted like much better wrist articulation so that like if I'm coming in this way, I'm not at risk of like bumping into the panel, that sort of thing. I want Raphael, I want him to be able to hold his size. Like there should be a 5mm peg or port in the fingers to let me hold the size, or maybe the size should be able to clip onto the panel so it looks like he can hold them the way he does in some of the comic panels and TV show stuff. They are really cool. I, like, as a casual Ninja Turtles fan with, like, you know, cash to burn, I dig it. But I think unless you're, like, a diehard Ninja Turtles fan, I don't recommend it at the $60 price. But at 30 or 40 bucks, I think they are fair enough. That is it for today's review. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We got them. We'll catch you all on the next one. Cowabunga, dudes.